Mr. Trasco's house in Lot 6. What is that, Trasco, Mr. Trasco?
Yeah, Trasco.
C-O. What is the first name?
John.
And then Mrs. Trasco's name is Ellen Trasco, and of course Dick Hobbs is here, Mary Hobster, and myself. Now,
this is Everittsville.
This is Everittsville, New Jersey.
Hunterdon County.
Hunterdon County. You want to get the local plug in
You might
there?
ask him how far we are from the Delaware River.
Yeah.
That seems to be clear.
Well, you asked it.
How far is Everittsville from the Delaware River?
5 miles.
About 5 miles. This is roughly about, what, 8 or 10 miles northwest of Flemington?
Well,
About that far from Flemington.
yeah.
What we wanted to get at, of course, was this experience that you had. I know I've read about it in the newspaper, and I think, Dick, you've personally spoken to Mrs. Trasco before, right? So suppose, Mr. Trasco, you just tell us what happened when, in your own words.
Well, I came from work, and I went down the street to Doris, and I got alongside her house.
What day was this, you recall?
I don't know exactly what day it was.
Early part of November.
Yeah.
All right, but I think Mr. Trasco's going to get a newspaper article. So now, as I understand, we've determined that this happened on November 6th on a Wednesday night. What time do you get home from work, Mr. Trasco?
Well, I come home, let's say, about 5 o'clock.
What type of work do you do?
Well, I was in the paper mill. Start putting down towards the barn. And I looked, I seen a little man. But we have hedges there. I couldn't notice the saucer. So he started coming down towards me. He says, "Don't be afraid. I don't mean no harm." So I got a little closer to him and started talking something about the dog. Then he says, "We're friendly people and don't mean no harm." And I got to, start shaking, and scared. By that time, I had my barn doors open, and he came again to me. He says, "Well, you want to give me the dog? We'd like to have him." So I swore at him or something. Then he just kind of around. He says, "Well, I'll be seeing you again." It was a round object, and it seemed to be hovering down the ground and went up again, then go about 10 feet high, and then come down again, and it come down to the trees there, and it come towards the barn again, and then all of a sudden it's going so fast around, didn't see the man there, and then zoomed right up in the air and left a big screen of smoke. The smoke will flare.
It was 5 o'clock, Mr. Trasco.
No, would have been after 5. It wasn't just getting dark.
You know how it is.
It was still dusk.
Yeah, you could see, because I stood there petrified at the window.
You can see the saucer.
I saw that, but I couldn't see the man who counted the
We have hedges there right in the middle of the yard.
bushes there.
Yeah, I looked out there, and from where she was standing in the kitchen, she couldn't see the man because of the bushes, but she could see the saucer.
Well, the first thing that attracted your attention, as I get it, was your wife knocking on the window pane.
Yeah.
And you say she indicated to you.
Putting her fingers towards the barn.
Now, walking along the side, had you been in the house already from work, or you were just arriving from work?
Well, I came in the house.
He came home.
Oh, then he went outside.
He went out to the door.
Good.
He didn't get on his door.
When she pointed that way, toward the back of the house, toward the barn, did you immediately see this man?
Yeah.
And at that time, was just one man you saw?
Just one man.
About how far away was he?
I would say about
10 feet from him, wasn't it? But she was...
well, from here, I would say about 20 feet.
About 20 feet?
About 20 feet.
What was your first reaction?
Well, he started walking towards me. Well, not the way he was by the barn there, and he walked from the hedges, he walked probably about 5 to 8 feet. And I kept going down slowly.
Toward him?
Toward him.
Were you frightened at the time?
Oh, I was frightened, yeah.
When did he first say anything to you?
Well, he says to me, "Don't be afraid, we're friendly people. We don't mean no harm."
Was he close to you then, or was he far away?
Well, he was, I'd say, about 6 feet from me. He never got any closer.
When he said that, how did he talk? Like an American? Or?
No, he talked broken English. It's sort of like a German accent.
How about the tone of his voice?
The voice was sort of like a squeaky voice.
Squeaky.
Yeah, squeaky voice.
The German accent.
Was it, very easy to understand, or was it difficult?
It was easy to understand because he talked very slow, so it was easy.
He talked very slow?
Slow. And, well, sort of on the sharp, squeaky side, like.
Well, he said, in substance, don't be afraid. How did you answer him?
Well, I swore.
Well, not did you right away?
Well, practically.
Well, I got the picture. You said, don't be afraid, you don't mean any harm, or something like that. Did you answer him then, or, what the fuck did you say?
Get the H out of you.
Something like that.
He was scared.
Yeah. Well, can you describe his appearance a little more for us?
Well, he was, I'd say about 3 to 4 feet tall. And I didn't see no flesh. The only flesh I see was like his face. The flesh on his face was sort of like if you take a putty in your hand and you squeeze it like that. Well, that's how his flesh was, formed.
Did you say there was a flash on his face?
Flesh.
Flesh. Oh, I beg your pardon.
Flesh.
Now, when he was standing, were there any lights nearby, or how well could you see him?
Well, I can see him pretty good. There were no lights.
Yeah, that's on November 6th about how light or dark it is then.
Well, it's just just like now at 5:30 or 4:06, it's just starting, someday.
Once the sun goes down.
You could sleep good,
How high would you say he was?
About 3 to 4 feet tall.
3 to 4 feet. Well, let's see. Say I'm standing up now. I'm about 6 foot. Up to what part of me would you say he'd talk?
Well, just by myself, he would come up to here to me.
Let's see. Would that be 3 foot?
It's about 3 feet.
Yeah, no more. Might be a little less, I imagine. Actually, might it not?
Yeah, it's the most.
Was that the usual proportion as far as you could see of his body? With arms long or short, or?
His arms were, according to his size, they were short. Well, he was all covered. He had sort of like coveralls on him. You couldn't see his hand, his hands or other part of the body. It was just the face and the ears.
Did they cover his hands?
Yeah, his hands. And on tip of the gloves, sort of a round objects. It was shiny objects.
On each finger?
On each finger.
Well, would this be like a glow, like an electric light bulb?
Well, they weren't lit, but they were shining.
Phosphorescent, or?
I wouldn't know.
Was it on every finger?
On every finger, yeah.
Now, how far did these coveralls extend? Was it one solid piece over to his head like a snow cap?
It covered his body to the neck, and then the only thing he wore on his head is like a tammy.
Like a Scotsman wears?
Yeah.
Now, could you notice the ears at all?
Well, I don't know. I didn't pay much attention to the ears. It seemed like it was the ears we have, the same shape.
How about his nose?
His nose was kind of it came out this way, like.
And the eyes sideways?
Huh?
Was it a flat nose? Or?
No, it was like we have, but it kind of seemed wide to me. Broader. Yeah.
It's not that you just pushed our nose in like that, but it seemed a natural nose, but covering a larger area.
Yeah.
What were you saying about his eyes, Mr. Trasco?
Well, his eyes was sort of like a marble. Well, in other words, they were protruding like frog eyes, They threw out of your sockets.
Were there any eyelids that you could notice, eyelashes?
The color of his face was sort of like a putty color, brown. But I didn't notice no eyebrows, and I didn't. Keep looking at his face and looking scared.
He looked undernourished.
How about his mouth?
I think it had sort of a heavy lips.
Was the size of the mouth the size you ordinarily expect in a person?
Yeah, Guess it would. It was forming on the side of his cheeks. Kind of, like I was talking before, like a putty. You squeeze it, and I looked at me,
When you say putty, I assume you mean a rather grayish color.
Yeah.
Now, Germain, is this the only part of his flesh that would be exposed, would be the face?
Yeah.
If you were asked to describe him generally in some type of color, what color would you say, Mr. Trasco?
Well,
Very dark.
his face, his flesh.
Well, his face, I would say on a light brown side. I mean, kind of like I said, like a putty.
A light brown?
Yeah, light brown face.
And what are the colors of the clothing?
Well, his clothing was like sort of it wasn't dark green, it was like sort of on a light shade. It wasn't light and wasn't too dark. Maybe medium, I'd say, medium green.
At this particular point where you were talking, was any lights nearby shining out of the house? Were the lights on at that time or
No.
Now, how far is this be from your neighbor's house next door?
Neighbor?
Are there people next door to you there?
Yeah, there's people there.
I didn't pay so much attention coming here. How far is the nearest house?
The White House right over here. Right next to us.
Is that right close to you here? I haven't looked.
Well, there's a little shack right next to
In
it.
between.
Oh, it's about 50 feet.
About 50 feet. All right, we got a description of it now. The arms didn't hang like a monkey or anything like that, said the
No, he stood very straight.
Did you notice the type of shoes he had on?
Everything was covered up.
Yeah. One other way to say the coverall was covered shoes.
The cover was the covered shoes and his hands,
How was it kept in
Well, up front he had sort of a
Just
big
breathe
buttons,
now with all
round
your heart.
buttons, but they were flat, around.
What color were they, you recall?
Shiny.
Sitting there, don't you?
Shiny side.
Feel like
Fingertips
you're
or...
losing
Yeah, like
your
his
mind.
fingertips, yeah.
Did they seem...
Tells you that you
I don't know if I understand that they gave off light or...
I don't know, I mean, they were shining like.
What I think he was trying to ask you is, did they look like they had a light inside them, or were they just shiny?
Just shiny,
I mean, it would be, for instance, if we take the clock, or under the lamp there, shining like that.
Yeah. I mean, you could take a glass even though there's no sun or nothing out. I mean, it's still will be shining.
Do you have any hair?
I didn't know.
I didn't notice any hair.
What kind of a material did this thing look like it was made from? Cotton or rayon or wool or
Oh,
nylon?
no.
No,
Oh, no.
didn't look like your shirt or anything like that. Or like a regular pair of coveralls would be
Oh,
cotton.
probably a pair of coveralls,
Yeah. That wasn't shiny though.
No.
No.
Did you notice how he walked, Mr. Trasco?
Well, he walked straight, short steps, and he walked very slow.
Could he see light in his feet, or heavy on his feet? Did you notice?
Well, I guess walked wide, I guess.
Why did he say that?
Well, because, I mean, the way he walked slowly, I would say he walked very light.
I mean, walking slowly would seem to me to just would indicate the opposite, that he sort of light on the feet. I mean, heavy. One would walk slow, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but there was no big marks or nothing. No foot tracks there or nothing.
How was the weather this day, by the way? Do you recall?
The weather?
Rainy, clear?
No, it was clear during the day,
Well, all right. You've got a description of him. Is there anything you've ever seen in pictures that would resemble him? Anything like Rumpelstiltskin or something like that in the fairy tales? Well, and I know there's some objects which, for comparison purposes, are you good at sketching with Trasco?
No.
I was wondering if possibly you could try to make a sketch there and fix
My
hair.
brother-in-law sent us over some
You have a little
pictures
sick
he
brother
had
at
sent away
home,
to
too.
California for.
And you're speaking the baptism of the Holy Ghost, aren't you? Give me your handkerchief.
Picture of captured. It's just where it was.
Let thy spirit,
And it
O
was like
God, come as this young man stands
That was his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
while holding your handkerchief in our
In where?
hands.
Rolling jersey.
Oh, I see. These pictures that you mentioned, you say you got them from
Came back
California.
to her last week. I wish I had come to
promised.
What are they supposed to represent?
Those flying saucers are taken over California in 54, 57.
And there was supposed to be a picture of it. Somebody was captured?
Yeah, I think it was in New Mexico, wasn't it, son?
I don't know.
A man and a woman had this little guy holding fast to his arms, and where they were standing, they had a hold of his arm, just like a child, you know, had his arms way up to hold fast his hand, and he stood there, and he looked just like John described it. But he was, that was the first I seen. It was about a couple of weeks ago.
Where is it the picture's from? Do you know? I never heard
California.
that. California. Just where from home. Did he mention the name at all?
I can find out from...
Is it Dan Tassel or
I don't know.
Adamski, Scully?
See, I can't remember. John?
I didn't even read it out.
The address.
Why did your brother-in-law think of it generally?
Oh, he's believing.
And getting back again to the conversation, when you swore at it, what did he say then?
Well, he didn't say nothing. But then he started asking me about the dog.
Do you remember specifically what he asked about the dog?
Probably said some more to me, but I mean, I just was scared. And
But the way John, he got in there so fast, John, he didn't seem get in the thing to go.
When he asked about the dog, you had the dog with you?
The dog was tied right down here.
Oh, is this the little dog we have here now? Or?
No.
Great
big black dog.
What was the dog's reaction to him, by the way?
Well, he was
He's going crazy.
running around circles there. He's
Partly blind.
partly blind.
Just, well, about all blind.
That dog,
Very scary.
looks to be a German Shepherd type or
Belgian Shepherd.
Belgian Shepherd type.
Was he barking before you went down there?
Yeah?
Yeah.
He was.
Was he on a leash, or
Yeah.
was he trying to go to this party, or?
Well, he was just going around there in circles. The dog did because he couldn't see, you know?
Is he entirely blind, the dog, or?
Huh?
Well, we had a big pile of rocks there, and them rocks all fell down the bank practically. Had a big pile of rocks, maybe about 3 to 4 feet high.
What caused that?
I don't know. I piled it up to keep so we have back up on is a creek. And every time we have a big rain or something, I wash away some ground, you know. So I started building up rocks. So I left a pile there maybe about 3 to 4 feet high. And if I had time, I could have, scattered them around more. So that pile of rock disappeared practically.
Well, when did you notice that?
I noticed that next morning I went down there.
Did the rocks disappear, or they spread?
Well, they spread. What I mean is spread.
Yeah, did the dog hit them, or?
I don't know.
Did you notice at that time when you saw this man if the rocks was...
No, I didn't notice it, no. Well, the dog kept going up and down, tied up on a chain, a big heavy chain.
Well, after you swore at the man, did he asked you about the dog? Did you swear at him before he asked for the dog, or after?
I think I swore at him before. I don't know, before or after.
What did he say?
No, before. I think when I was going down towards him, I started swearing at him.
Did he tell you why he wanted the dog?
No.
You didn't ask him why he wanted
No,
it?
I didn't ask him.
Did he say he just wanted to, was it your impression that he just wanted to see the dog, or was it your impression that he wanted to take it?
Well, my impression, he wanted to take the dog.
Well, then, after you refused the dog, we might use that terminology, what happened then?
Well, he didn't say nothing. Just turned around, started walking towards the saucer there, and...
When did you first notice the saucer?
Oh, when I was going down towards him.
Was it behind him?
Behind, yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't been outside. It's about 10 o'clock at night now. But was he in a direct line with the saucer in your vision?
He was right over here, and the saucer was right in front of the barn.
About how much distance was there between them?
Well, I would say maybe about 10 or 12 feet. Diagonally.
Diagonally?
Yeah.
All right. You started walking toward the saucer. Now, can you describe the saucer for us?
Well, the saucer was round and was going at a great...
Well, you said round, you mean like a ball?
No, it wasn't
No.
on the bull side.
No, like on the flat side, side.
Come out like this one.
Let's see. Well, would it be if you took a ball and cut the top and bottom off on it?
Yeah.
Now, how large would you say the saucer was?
Well, I won't say exactly how solid. I mean, it was going
Nice
pretty.
size to get in the girl.
Pardon?
Which is a nice size to get in the girl.
You think
Did it for you?
did it appear big enough that you could have got in it?
Well, I don't know, but I think if they came down again, I'd make a good effort to get in.
Well, let's see. This ceiling here, I imagine, would be about 8 foot here, right?
Yeah.
Would you say the height of the saucer was the height of the ceiling? Or higher?
I mean, I couldn't exactly describe the height because it came like this here, and well, the best way I would.
It didn't land on the ground. It just kept...
Did you make the Trasco, or did you make the sketch of the saucer for you?
The best way I would describe it in a simple way would be if you take a saucer and turn it upside down. Well, that's how it looked. That's how it
Was it
looked.
flat on the bottom, do you know, or was it saucer shaped on the bottom too?
Oh, I think it was saucer shaped on the bottom.
Yeah, I want you to maybe just make a design
Here,
there.
how did that look to you? That guy. Look anything like it at all?
Well, it would, but I mean, it's a smooth space here, you know, but I
see.
you can rough it out, you know what I mean.
Yeah, in other words, the texture of his skin wasn't smooth.
It wasn't smooth enough, but it was kind of
Pinch
groovy,
like-
well, I said groovy, you know what I mean.
Wrinkle.
They groove here, and, you know, like this here, you know.
Would it be like a wrinkle, like an old
Well-
person's face, with a real old person there? Was it more pinched
Of
up?
course, wrinkled, well, I would say be heavily wrinkled because, I mean, you can, you know.
Was there a lot of lines in his face from between the corners of his eyes and his mouth?
Well, I
Or
could
did
see
it-
that, but I mean, where his face was, well, something like this here.
Well, you
It was
drawn.
Sounds like there were bumps on it or something. Was
Yeah,
it
it was
bumpy?
sort of like bumps there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the kind of a face that you would normally see on an aged person.
No.
Was the saucer perfectly round, say like that metal thing?
No.
Why don't you try to
Why don't
just
you
make a little
you
sketch
can,
if you would there?
Just give it.
We'll do it on the next page there.
No, that's
Oh, okay, fine.
yeah.
I mean, it looks something like this here. Well, that's how it looked to me. I mean,
Yeah. Well, now, all right, from the highest point, about how high would you say it was? Up and down,
you mean,
the saucer. The highest point at the top to the lowest and the bottom. Well, let's say, could you place it in this room? Would it fit in this room? There's an 8-foot ceiling,
it
approximately.
probably would.
And how about the width of it?
Well, I couldn't give you a good description. I mean, how big it was. Because it was shot at local speed.
The what?
An local speed. Rotation.
Was it rotating all the time?
All the time, yeah. And it go down. One touch the ground would go down, hovering, and then it go up in the air again.
All the time he was standing on the ground, just
Well, he was standing, and I was standing. Would come down the ground, then it'd go about 10 feet, near the top of the roof of my barn, then it'd come down again, then it'd come over the side, over here by the tree, we have a big maple tree and a whipping willow tree. He'd come in between that, then it'd come to the barn again, then it'd come to the ground again, and it's hovering up and down, but never stopped.
Well, if we could assume that it would stop, this room is what, about 20 foot long, would you say, here?
Yeah. About 23 feet long.
Yeah, and I guess more of the wall must be about 15 feet the other way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could they put the whole thing in here? Would it fit in this room?
Maybe it was.
Were there any windows or anything like that you could see?
No, I didn't see no windows at all. No.
Now, what was the color of the saucer?
Well, it was shining.
A gold shine, or what kind of shine?
It was silvery shining.
Silvery shine. But you didn't see any doors or any way of getting in or out.
No.
All right, so he starts walking back towards the saucer. Now what happens?
And it was still hovering, still going at a speed.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I didn't see him, then nope, he took.
Well, let's see. He approached the saucer, right?
Yeah.
Well, you were watching him, right?
And I was watching, yeah.
How did he
And
do?
then all of a sudden I didn't see nothing. Didn't see him go in or what. He just went so fast in there and off they went.
Well, was he walking slowly as he approached the saucer?
Yeah, he's walking slow, yeah.
How close was he to it when he disappeared from your sight?
Well, as it came down and he come to the saucer, then all of a sudden it just disappeared. And
You were watching him all this time.
I was watching all the time.
You didn't see him get in it or
No.
step on anything.
I went right by the doors was open, the barn. I went right by the doors, and I kept on looking at him, and he just disappeared. Then the saucer started coming over. I turned around to look where they went. There's more big trees there, and I say, when they let a big blue flame, and then I couldn't see no more. There was smoke on alongside the trees there.
Well, I'm just trying to get the picture now. You say you went to the barn. There was a saucer near the barn.
Yeah, it was close to the barn, yeah.
Well, when he walked away, you said you went to the barn doors and opened them or something of that nature?
Well, the barn doors were open.
Did you close them?
No. Before he took off, I stood by the barn doors, you know.
Yeah. Well, did you follow him when he walked toward the saucer, which would be toward the barn too, I assume?
Well, we were towards the barn doors.
Yeah. Well, when he walked away, he turned his back to you?
Yeah.
Did you follow him there, or?
No, I stood still.
Well, you weren't at the barn then, were you?
You mean when you gone to the saucer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was by the barn there, yeah.
Oh, you were by the barn then?
Yeah. When he said that I had to have the dog, well, we were already by the barn.
When you had this conversation about the dog, when he said you wanted to have the dog, were you standing still then, or?
Yeah, I was standing still, yeah.
How far are you from the barn then?
Well, I was about 3 feet.
Well, when they first saw him, how far were you from the barn?
Oh, when I first saw him, I was over here by the house. I was there about 20 feet.
Yeah, well, I was wondering, how come
20 feet.
you, did you follow him when he walked to the barn?
I walked down, yeah.
Now,
I think Joel, probably what's confusing you is that the dog coop is located on one corner of the barn.
the what?
The dog coop.
Oh.
And the saucer was at the other end of the barn. And when he said when the man walked away from him and walked towards the barn, actually he was going down along the long ways of the barn. He was walking in front of the barn, right? From the dog coop down to the other end of the barn.
Well, see, the saucer, was you down there?
Yeah. I was down there.
Well, the saucer was about in the middle of the part of the barn.
But why do you say they went?
Well, I mean, the saucer and the man.
Oh, that's what you refer to.
He's going down the side of the house. See,
Yeah.
there's the barn. There's where the saucer was hovering, roughly. Here's the dog coop.
Yeah.
What did you walk up to here to meet you about
Yeah.
halfway? Then you walked together back to the corner of the
Yeah.
barn. And then you stood there talking for a few moments, and he walked down this way towards the saucer.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what's obstructing the vision from the house here now?
There's bushes right here.
Bushes right here.
Quite a few of them in here. There's some big trees down in here, and a couple of big ones over in here.
So I assume when you walked over toward the saucer, which was visible, wouldn't he be visible there or from the house?
No, these bushes are high, and she can see from this kitchen window down to that corner of the barn.
Yeah.
But she can't see the dog coop or this area in here.
The one thing confuses me, though, if I am a little man and I am walking, say, if that's the saucer over here, do I just suddenly disappear from view entirely? Do I fade out?
No?
No, he means if he was a little man.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I walk, here's the saucer, I'm walking towards it. All of a sudden like that, I just disappear, or do I fade out gradually, or?
Well, he just disappeared quick in the saucer.
I didn't go towards the saucer. I go very close. And, well, I don't know, I probably had a feeling, or I probably had a hunch it's going to take off, you know. So I got inside the door. I'm still scared and nervous.
Well, he was in there in the doorway. The saucer was blocking the view of the man. He couldn't see him get in.
All right. You stepped inside the doorway to the barn when you walked over there.
Yeah, was there any particular reason why you did that, or?
I saw it up in the air, but I stood right there with the window.
Was the dog with you all the time in the leash?
Tied down at the coop. Kept there.
Oh, well, you were walking him originally, right? But
he was going down to feed him.
Oh, 2 feet to do it. Oh, you didn't have the dog. Oh, I thought you had the dog with you then.
No.
I'm just trying to get the picture of why you should go into the barn while the man is there.
Like I said, about 3 feet from the barn doors.
Yeah.
He's going toward the saucer.
Yeah.
Well, I just went to barn doors and stood there.
And well, we're away, you know.
I mean, it seems sort of natural. I mean, you're a little curious to see what happens to him. That's why I can't quite figure
Well,
out.
probably he figured if that thing was going to take off, he was going to get out of his way.
I mean, he's already
But
going
when
toward the
that thing
saucer.
took off, it was just a swish.
He's gone toward the saucer, so I realized he's going to take off. And I'm standing at the doorway there, and then took right off.
So if he would have climbed into the saucer through a door, you wouldn't have been in a position to see it from where you were standing at that time.
No.
How high up was the saucer while he walked toward it? Was it down or up?
It was down. It came down. But I mean, it didn't land. It didn't land the ground at all.
Did you didn't see any entrance to it? I mean,
No.
Have you any idea how he got into it?
No.
Did you see any other men or women or anything of that
This
nature?
is just one man or so.
Now, you're referring to him as a man. I mean, what
Might have
would
been
it
a
be?
woman, maybe.
That's what I was going to ask you. What would it be about this thing which would indicate to you that it would be a man?
Because he had covered his phone every now and then.
Well,
But anything on the face, for instance, would indicate a man rather than a woman.
well, like I said, he had a strange face. You couldn't tell whether he was a woman or a man.
In his figure, his shape, was anything womanly and manly about it, or?
Well, I mean, a man that size, expect to be a man or a woman. I mean, especially me. I don't know nothing about them things. Even you get a child. You get a child, he's dressed up. I mean, shorts. You don't know whether it's a man or a woman.
Didn't have any
Girl, boy.
bra.
How about the voice? Was it striking? Was feminine or masculine?
Well, it was a squeaky voice.
Was anything distinctively male or female about it?
Maybe it was a female. You never know.
Well, this isn't the kind of guy you'd be jealous of, would he?
Oh, maybe it was because it appeared to be ugly that you would assume immediately it was a man.
I resent that. Yeah, I resent that very much. We all do. Well, as he walked away, did he or she say anything?
Well, he said, well, I'm saying he. Maybe it's a he. Well, he said, well, I'll be seeing you again. Well, we went out, I don't know what time it was, or maybe about 8 o'clock. We went out that evening, you know, and I said to my wife, I'm going down the barn again. So I went down the barn and didn't see nothing.
But the next night, I was upstairs filling my bed, and I didn't have the light on. I was looking out of the window, you know, because I was still worked up about that. And right up over the barn, there was 2 things, a great big white light and a great big red light. And I thought maybe it's a plane going, but it wasn't even moving. It was just staying stationary. Then pretty soon I seen nothing. Just seen nothing.
She's the one that saw this thing first, you know.
Yeah. I want to tell Mrs. Trasco in a moment. Did he wave goodbye or anything like that?
No, he said, well, I'll be seeing you again. And wave or nothing.
The only thing you said to him is, I guess, the pictures when you swore at him.
Yeah.
Then this took off, you say, how did it go? Up, down, sideways, or?
I went down just like a plane would.
In what direction generally would that be?
Go east, up like that.
There was a blue flame, did I understand you to say?
Yeah, some blue flame like. And when it disappeared, and we seen little clouds of smoke right by the trees. There's 2 big trees over there, and the smoke was out between the trees.
When it took off, was there any light other than the blue flame?
No, the only thing I know is the blue flames like.
How far did you see it in the sky?
Well, I didn't see it long. As soon as it passed them trees, I didn't see no more.
Do you have any idea of the rate of speed? I mean, roughly?
No. You know, Jenkins says on a terrific rate of speed.
What did you do immediately after that?
What did I do?
Yeah.
Well, I just fed the dogs and come back home, and she started asking me questions, and I told her about it, and then
Did you feed the dogs first before you got back in?
before I come home, yeah. And I started getting tears out my eyes, and then she started talking to me again. I went upstairs, and I come downstairs. I was very upset, The next morning, I got up, and I went to work, and I noticed some kind of green in between my fingernails. So I looked at it. Oh, then I had green powder on my wrist. No, it's a green powder late in the evening. But there was something in between my fingernails. But to me, it seemed like powder. I mean, it easily washed off when, the next morning in the shop.
Well, I mean, I don't recall you having told me that you had any physical contact with him. Did you?
No.
Well, how would you tie in the green powder? How would you explain that to him?
I wouldn't know. I mean, I didn't touch him or got too close to him.
I wonder, when you worked in the paper mill, Mr. Trasco, was there any green paint or powder?
No.
You notice under was it on the wrist, was the green powder there in the morning after this happened?
No, that same evening, I noticed the green powder on my wrist. Well, it wasn't much, but just a little bit, But in the morning, I had in between my fingernails. Well, I don't think it was any kind of, I didn't pay attention,
What makes you think that there may be a tie between the green paint on your wrist and this thing?
Well, I don't have nothing green like that at home. And then the shop, we don't use that because the department I work, we cut rope. And that was the first thing in the morning before we start working.
Well, let's turn to Mrs. Trasco for a moment. Suppose you tell us what your personal, not so much what your husband told you, what you actually saw.
Well, he went out to feed the dogs, and I was getting supper. I was over there by the cabinet, and I just looked out the window, and King was barking like mad, and I figured, it's the baker, because he always barked at trucks, and I didn't pay much attention. But I looked out the window, and I saw this here real round, shiny thing down there, And first thing I thought, gee, haven't got a light down there,
How far was this from the house about, excuse me?
Huh?
How far from the window where you were standing was this?
Oh, it's not about 90 feet.
Is the barn that far back?
Because the property's 172 long from the road to the creek. So I just stood there, I didn't know what to do, and I went by the sink there. And I banged on the window for him.
Could you see your husband at that time?
Yeah, he was sitting right there then, going down, so.
Is that alongside the house behind it?
Yeah, right here inside the house.
Alongside.
Was he in a position then where he couldn't have seen the...
He didn't see it then, no.
I mean, couldn't he have seen it from the position where he was?
Well, what?
The saucer?
I could have seen.
I could have seen. But he wasn't looking down.
Yeah.
I could have seen because when I go feed the dogs, the cat is between my feet. And, otherwise the cat wasn't going between my feet, I could have seen it myself.
So I banged on the window and I went like that, pointed down like that, and he looked down and away he went, on down there. And then I heard him talk, and I couldn't, understand anything because the fingers were closed,
What could you say, you could hear him talking, you mean your husband?
Hollering.
What could you hear when he hollered?
Well, I don't know. I can't say what he was hollering, but I heard his voice. You know, I couldn't.
What part of your husband could you see?
I could see his back, and he was facing towards the, you know, not towards the barn, but towards where that saucer was, you know.
Yeah.
From it.
Could you see his legs there?
Yeah. Back down.
What, if anything, was there obstructing your vision to see the little man?
Well, there was a lilac bush, some kind of shrub up there, and it still had the green stuff on it. Obstructing my view of what he was, whoever he was talking to, you know. But my view wasn't obstructed from this shining object down there.
Did you notice the position of the saucer, what we call it a saucer there, while he was talking?
Yeah, it was like on the egg-shaped side, and it was just going up and down.
How high up did it seem to you it was going?
What?
How high up did it seem to you it was going?
Oh, it was about 6 feet up, and then it would go down. But it never touched the ground.
What was your immediate reaction then? How did you feel?
I was scared to death.
Now, from the time you knocked on the window to indicate to your husband, how long was it before the saucer left?
Well, I guess it was about, what would you say? I don't know, to me it seemed like an eternity. I guess maybe about 3 minutes or something like that.
Could you hear any other sounds other than your husband hollering?
No.
Did you have a tendency to go out the house to see what was happening?
I couldn't. I just stood there. I couldn't even move.
How would you
The dog
describe?
was barking like mad.
How would you describe the saucer as it took off?
Well, as it took off from my view, I'm up higher here. When it went up, it swooshed, and it's a big tree was down there, and then it went right straight up, and then it swooshed right on up over the barn, and then it was like blue came out of it, and then it was like pinkish. But I don't think John could see that because he was standing in the barn way there. But then there was nothing after that.
Oh, was your husband in your line of view all the time?
No. That's why I was so scared.
I mean, did he walk out of sight?
Well, yeah, due to the fact that those lilac bushes and shrubbery there, and I couldn't see him. The only way that you can see is directly right straight down from
Yeah, well, maybe later I can take a look out there myself.
You don't wade up to mud up to your hips, then.
Oh, it's a little...
I took a couple of photographs. I have.
Oh, did you do?
Yeah.
Oh. When you saw this, did you figure it was a flying saucer?
When I first saw it, I thought it was a bunch, a lot of water down there or something. And then when I saw the thing moving,
What did you figure it was then, the saucer?
I figured it was a saucer.
Did you have any idea that there was any occupant who had been in it at that time?
No.
When was the first time you realized that?
What, there was someone in it?
Yeah.
Well, I figured there must be someone in it. It wouldn't be going up and down itself.
Yeah. You couldn't hear any sound from the little man or woman or whatever it was. Did you immediately think of this incident down in Tennessee about, when your husband told you the story about the one with the dog, did you immediately think about this incident down in Knoxville, Tennessee with the clock boy? Did that come to
I
you?
didn't even know anything about that till we read that the next night in the paper.
Oh, that was the first you heard of that?
The next night in our paper, we read that.
That was November 7th. Let me ask you this. How you were telling me before how the newspapers got hold of the story?
Well, I called up my brother-in-law. He was over to my dad's house.
When was that?
Creek Road. That same night.
Yes.
And I told him about it. And he says, no kidding, he said. So the next day, see, he had a week's vacation. He was up from Norway. The next day, he goes down to Frenchtown. He tells Fred Sykes.
Fred Sykes, who was he?
He used to be the motor vehicle man. He just writes right by the Dollar Valley News there. He has the building there, Dollar Valley News rents it from him. So he told Fred Sykes, and Fred went right to the news and told the news, and then I think that night
You say Fred Sykes told the news?
Yeah, told the news about it.
Oh, is that the paper?
Dollar Valley.
Oh, yeah, I see, yes.
And then this here woman called me up. So I heard about your experience, and I said, well, who told you? She said, well, the news gets around. So then Ray said that he had told Fred, and Fred had told the news. So we didn't go to the paper, so then they came up and took pictures in the paper and took the story.
Did you check with your neighbors at all to see if they had seen anything?
No, well, matter of fact, in the house next door, the house wasn't occupied, and the house below that wasn't occupied. And the people up here, next to us, they, it wouldn't do any good to check them because they were not.
But you've never heard, since that time, you've never heard of anybody in this town that did see it?
No.
Because in the daytime, you can see this place. Actually, there's quite a number of homes looked down on in this particular area where this thing landed.
Incidentally, on their story in Tennessee there about the dog, you recall what paper you read that in?
We used to Express would take.
The Eastern Express carried it.
I don't know.
That Jim Staples paper?
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the people and where it was from.
Is the paper delivered to your house every day?
Yeah, in the afternoon.
Yeah, was that the paper delivered to your house you read it in?
Yeah.
And I guess it happened to be the Eastern Express, I guess, and wouldn't it? That's the only paper you get.
Yeah, and news.
That's a weekly.
Yeah. You compare it all with the Schmidt incident in Nebraska when you first saw it. Did you think of that?
I read I don't know, it was the next night or the night after I read in the paper. I didn't say anything to John about it. When he sees something in the paper, and I see something in the paper, we don't even tell each other. I mean, we just read things, forget about them.
Yeah, I assume had you at that time read about the sightings down in Levelland, Texas, around there, or in White City?
That was in the paper too, right with that same story, I think.
Had there been anything on the papers at all about flying saucers on the day that you'd seen it in the 6th?
No, not at all.
Had you, Mr. Trasco, or Mrs. Trasco, had any interest in saucers at all before?
No, I didn't believe in it.
What do you think now?
Oh, I kind of think that I'm one of their chosen favorites.
You know,
Do you take that seriously, or?
Yeah.
You know, when I've seen it, I told her, I said, don't you dare tell anybody about this sin. She did tell her brother-in-law.
Yeah, well, I didn't think Fred would tell Fred, because they said they'd be back, Fred said, well, you scared them away.
Is that why you told her not to mention? Because you thought they might be back?
No.
Well, the reason John says not to tell anybody because this town is a small town, and they don't believe anything, And they never seen it, but they eat their hearts out.
Then that second incident I seen when I was coming down the Feinstein Hill, I seen these 4 objects. When I came home, I told my wife about it. I said, don't tell nobody. But I did tell myself. I told my brother-in-law.
How long after was that, Mr. Trasco?
Oh, I don't know. About 2 or 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And I didn't think we put this in tape before. What did you see as far as you can recall?
Well, they were wrong objects. They were treated, went back to each other's tree, and then went quite a ways from the rest.
What were you doing at the time?
Well, I was driving a car. I was coming down a hill, and I thought it was the reflection, on my car, I got a blue car. So I rolled the window down, I slowed down the hill, but I didn't come to a stop, and I still seen, to be sure, I kept on looking whether I'm seeing things or what. But I seen it.
How far?
No reflection or nothing.
Were you alone at the time?
Yeah. I was coming home from work.
How high up were they about?
Oh, I wouldn't know.
They weren't close to the ground, were they?
No, they're up,
Right overhead or an angle?
No, up that way, like, on my left,
About a 45-degree angle?
or something like that.
There were three. Could you get any idea of the size of the shape?
No.
I mean, were they very high up, like a high-flying airplane, or?
Well, I mean, if they were overhead, I would say they would be high, but this way, I mean, I couldn't say whether they were high, but they wouldn't be low.
Any hills, I mean, which you could sort of compare the height?
No.
Well, I mean, how about the shape? Could you tell?
They were round.
I mean, could you tell whether they were airplanes, something like that?
No, they weren't airplanes, no.
Any noise you can see?
No.
Vapor trail?
Huh?
Vapor trail? Anything like that? What time of the day was this?
Well, about 4:30.
Yeah, it was light.
It was late. I get home about 20 minutes to 5, so I passed through French on about 4:30.
How long did you watch them?
Over a few minutes until I got down bottom of the hill when I didn't see him anymore.
They went out of sight?
Well,
Well, he was on the hill, you know, they get down the valley.
Get down,
you
can't
see his
see.
distance.
I mean, in other words, they went out of your range of vision.
Yeah.
yeah.
The word in question is disappearing from sight because of the distance. I have any idea of their speed, approximately?
No.
Is it an airplane or fast as a
I
jet?
couldn't tell the speed, and I couldn't tell the height they were up.
You mentioned, Mrs. Trasco, the next night you saw something.
Yeah.
Now, what was that again?
Well, I saw two lights. I saw the barn one, a big white light and a big red light.
Well, how high over the barn would you say?
I say it was about 50 feet
Which one?
up in the air.
Which light? Which light?
There was a big white one and a big red one and another big white one and another big red one. One was right up over top of the other one. Two things, and they were just like this. And I thought it was maybe the plane down because I was watching to see the green light, you know, that goes red and green on the plane. And it wasn't even moving. And I stood there looking out the bathroom window, and then suddenly there was nothing.
Was your husband home at the time?
He was down on the television, and I told him about.
Did you come up then?
No.
Could you discern any outline around the lights?
No, just like a great big white light and a big red light.
Was sort of that illuminated the surrounding area? Was that bright?
Well, the white light was very bright, and the red light was a real bright red.
I mean, enough to, you could look around and see if they were attached to an object or anything?
No, that's all I could say.
How long did they last there?
I stood there maybe about a couple minutes looking at it because I was watching, you know, think it was there. Didn't even hear a noise.
Were they stationary?
Stationary.
What finally happened to them?
Just appeared just like that.
Did you feel any place to go out the house or?
No.
No?
Did it light up the barn?
No.
And you were saying you felt you interpreted this that there might be some reason why you had this experience?
Well, I don't know. It was a mystery to me. I mean, before, when the saucer was down here, I didn't see any red light or flame from it or anything. But at night there, I saw this big red light and a big white light. And I thought it might have been looking out the window. They would have seen the same thing.
Since that time, have you seen anything?
No, not that John.
Yeah. How about before that time? Never seen anything that might seem to be a flying saucer?
Yeah, what was this, about 4 years ago when we were going to Everittsville. And I had my daughter with me. She was in the back seat, John was driving, and I was sitting in the front seat. And I said, look, Annie, up in the sky. I said, see that shiny object? She says, yeah, and it was round, you know. And she says, well, that's no airplane, Mommy. And I said, well, I know it isn't. Well, John couldn't see because he was driving. And it was on my side. So we looked again and we didn't see anything.
How long do you think you saw that all told? How long all told did you see that?
Oh, maybe it was about a minute. And just disappeared.
Did it go out of your range of vision or just disappear?
Disappeared. Go out of the range.
What did you think it was at that time?
She says, Mommy, that's a flying saucer.
How old was your daughter then?
Well, she's just turned 18. How old was she?
Well, him, I guess. It must be.
4 years?
Was she home tonight?
About 14, she was.
Was she home tonight that you had this experience?
No, she's married now.
Oh, she's married now. Was she interested in sources?
No.
At that time, was that the first time you'd seen anything that was or could be a flying saucer?
At that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
Had you been interested before that, or did that awaken the interest?
No, I was never interested. I heard about it and all that, but I was never interested. But it was no plane because it was round, shiny.
But did you feel at that time this was a flying saucer when you saw it yourself? Up to that time, this is 4 years back, had you had the opportunity to read anything about that?
No.
Yeah, you mentioned before you thought that there might be some reason that you were chosen for this experience. Would you have any idea why you might be particularly so?
I don't know.
Did you have any mental feeling at all at the time this happened or any other time?
No, not really.
There's been many cases that have been reported.
I had excuse me, I had the mental feeling that night I went to bed that I was going to see something, and I saw those objects. So
that was the night afterwards. Did you ever have the feeling again you'd see something?
Yes.
Did you?
No. Yes.
Do you think they will be back? What's your guess? I know it's purely a guess as to where they come from. Do you have any idea?
I thought they were Venetian.
What left you with that impression? What left you the impression that they'd be
Well, my husband said they were so kind.
Yeah, well, when you say kind, but would you say kind or peaceful?
Well, kind people.
Well, that's what they say with peaceful people.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to follow your thought, maybe a little obtrusive I am, excuse me, but why would you figure that the Venusian would be peaceful?
I don't know.
But,
I just think they are.
I mean, would that be based on what you might have heard or read? Did you ever hear mention on the radio or anything? Do you ever listen to the party line at night, WR at midnight?
I never listen to the radio.
Oh.
Only at 10 o'clock in the morning, WR News.
Oh. You never hear at night the Long John show?
What is that?
Midnight.
Well, on the
Party line, yeah. No, on radio.
No. Midnight on
Yeah. You never met Benji yourself, did you?
No, I didn't know.
What does your brother-in-law think of him?
He likes it. Believes in it. Well, I never met him. I saw his picture in Delaware News.
Oh, did he have a picture in the Delaware News?
Yeah, he had an article written in a couple of years ago or something.
What was your reaction at that time when you read the article?
I was telling John about it, for heaven's sake.
I didn't even read it.
I was telling you about it.
Yeah, I know.
What did you think about it at the time?
I don't know. I thought somebody was crap.
I suppose now your opinion may have changed a bit, or... Yeah, no, the only thing I couldn't... When you mentioned before, and I think quite seriously that you felt you might be one of the chosen few, I was just wondering... Any particular reason why you think they pick out this particular spot, or you or your husband?
I think when I die someday, I'm going to go to Venus. Come back.
Did you believe in reincarnation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I guess probably the majority of the people in the world actually do.
Have you always?
Even before this incident.
Well, if they came back again, would you walk down to meet them?
I think
You would. You don't think you'd be afraid? Would you, Mr. Trasco?
Well, since this here happened, I mean, every night when I go to feed the dogs, I'll feed them, but I'll say to my wife, I'm going to get rid of them dogs. I hate to go down to the barn. Well, it's been going on quite a few months now. She feeds them herself.
I go down every
I don't even want to go down to the barn.
I go down every day at 4 o'clock.
Now, for the last 2 weeks, she's been going down there. But since that happened, I want to go down there.
You still have the dog.
We still have to go. Yeah.
You'd be afraid if you saw him again.
I don't know, I'll be afraid. No, but
You wouldn't want to go down.
I just dislike, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had no desire to go down to the barn there at all.
With this, getting back to this ship again, Mr. Trasco, did you get any kind of other sensations when it took off? Did you notice any odors?
No.
Any heat or
It's sort of a heat like, but
was there a wind?
oh, wind, yeah.
Yeah. Quite a strong wind.
A strong wind, and some branches have moved.
Did they move or did they thrash around? Or?
Yeah, the trees.
You know, like the wind, you get a good wind there, you know, the branches move.
And this blew back on you, did it? This wind and exhaust? Did you feel it yourself or did you just see it?
I felt again, I shook.
Did you, why?
Well, like I said, it was the terrific speed it had, you know, so, I mean, it threw a lot of wind, and then it kind of shook.
Yeah, when you told you that your eyes were watering, did you mean that you were shook up as a result of this, or
no? I mean, I came home and it was towards the latter part of the evening, you know, tears in my eyes. I was probably getting scared or going to.
I thought maybe something blew in your eyes or something irritated your eyes, or there was no wings or anything like that on this.
No.
You just saw no wind at the door.
Did it make any noise at all? Did you saw it?
Yeah, it did. You get down a ship, but when you get down a ship, when the ship idles, it makes that a boom, 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 sort of noise like that.
I just glanced on this newspaper article here, and I noticed they quote you here as saying to us there were more than one.
Well, that's what they said. Well, then he asked me, I said maybe there was more. Well, all I've seen was one.
Well, it must have been on the ship things up and down.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask you, too, when you were telling your story, Mr. Trasco, I think the paper says something about that you tried to grab one of them or something.
Yeah, he wanted to catch one.
Yeah. Did you try to grab them?
I think I
He
did.
wanted to.
Huh? I think I
Done
did.
with it.
Huh?
For her.
Or when did you try to grab it?
Well, when we got close to the barn, I guess.
Was that while he was talking to you?
Yeah.
How long after that did the action relieve after you tried to grab it?
Only about 5 minutes.
And did he run away or dodge, or what happened? I'm trying to get the picture.
No, he didn't run away. They kind of stepped sideways.
Did he say anything?
No.
Do you appear to be carrying anything at all, Mr. Trasco?
No.
Do you have anything that looks like a weapon?
No.
No sticks or?
No, nothing at all.
Was every family present at the time, or?
Very fine, yeah.
And you never asked him who he was or where he
No.
was from or why he was here or
No.
nothing.
Do you think he could have taken that dog? That's a pretty good sized dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think he could have taken it?
Probably would have. Could have.
Oh, maybe they had the power to do it.
How do you figure it all out now?
What do you mean?
How and why it happened? Do you have any ideas?
No.
Pretty
We
impressive
been
story.
out at the time and came home and found the dog gone. We didn't know where.
Still be looking.
Do you figure there's any possibility that the ship might have been visible only to you for any reason? I mean, I'm thinking here it is a pretty open view and seeing quite a few houses
No, I mean-
around here.
To me, it was clear visible. And also to my wife, I mean, according to the source, it was very shiny, like
Must have been more to him than to me, because I was.
shiny object. Could have been invisible to anybody.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I would say about the man, because, I mean, you'd say he was camouflaged. He had a green coveralls on, so imagine to the grass, the lawn, you know, so maybe he could have been visible, you know, to somebody from the distance, you know. He would say 50 feet.
yeah. I'm trying to figure with this flame and the noise. How do you figure some other people didn't see it?
Did you hear anything, Mrs. Trasco?
Probably there was nobody home. A lot of people, they work on different shifts and stuff. And as I said, the house next to us was unoccupied.
And 2 houses on
was unoccupied, and the third house.
Not as people living in.
Now people have just Friday.
Could you hear the noise from where you were standing?
No, I hear king bark, and I have a hearing aid, but I pick up all different kinds of stuff.
You didn't get any sense of a noise from that, from the ship?
Okay, going back to these pictures again, which I find most interesting. You saw the pictures, Mr. Trasco,
yeah.
your brother-in-law sent over. Do you think it looked pretty much like this man?
Well, the saucer did. But the man, he was very thin.
He was awful thin, but he didn't have any coveralls on.
No.
Was your man pretty well,
skinny.
pretty heavy, would you say?
Yeah, at least heavy.
So skinny, and his hands looked so long,
Bony.
And these people had a whole
Very bony. No hat on.
No, he had no hat on.
No.
Your man was more on the heavy side, huh?
On the heavy side.
Heavily built.
Yeah.
How he took the coveralls off.
Well, these pictures, I think they fascinate me. I've heard the picture of a little man before. Are they supposed to be genuine pictures, or?
Yeah, he was standing between 2 men, and they had one man, and he had trench coat on and a hat. No, he was standing between 2
Are
men.
these pictures they sell, or?
Yeah, I got it all for him for 65 cents a piece.
Why don't you find out how to get a hold of her brother-in-law and
We're going down there this Sunday.
find out where he got him from, send for him.
Maybe you could do that, Dick, because, as I say, I don't get out here too often. The source that you saw looked like the source from the pictures?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
there's one taken right
Well,
from
I'm
the city of
mistaken.
Los Angeles. And the others was taken in different places, I forget.
I think I had 3 pictures there.
But if you want to contact him, he'll be there to show you the pictures.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give him a call and find out send for him.
Outside of the local Delaware Valley newspaper reporter, has anyone else seen you or talked to you about this? Or?
Oh, this card I got the other day, and then there was a minister from Irwin over. He was
A minister from where?
Irwin, Pennsylvania.
Irwin.
Irwin, yeah.
Very close to Frenchtown.
What did he think about it?
Well, he believes that. He wanted us to give him the story, and he drew a picture of the man. Feel pretty good about it.
He did. Didn't leave you a copy, did he?
No, shit.
Yeah. Wish he had.
No, I'm not very good at sketching. You would say it looked
I
more...
think by numbers.
Oh, I see. That was. Yeah. You didn't do that one by the
Some
time,
of
did
the
you?
pictures
I
there.
like that one over in the corner.
Oh, very nice.
Not this one up here.
A couple upstairs.
I like to do it.
Oh, yeah. Picking myself a couple of $1,000.
Yeah, just autograph it and that's it.
Sure.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like to do that.
Yeah, that's good. That takes patience, though, to do that.
You're in the Army, Mr. Trasco.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any interest at all in metaphysics, anything like that?
Had the what?
Metaphysics, interest in anything like that before?
No.
Did you speak at all, I don't know, what church you go to? Do you minister or anything? Do you have a priest?
No.
Who was this fellow from Irwin? You?
Matter of fact, I think he's a preacher of the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Didn't you tell me somebody had contacted you? Some reason?
Yeah.
Pentecostal Church.
The Tennessee Church? Do you think there's any religious significance to this?
I don't know, but he was very interesting.
No, I mean personally, do you get the feeling there might be religion connected with this?
I'll say good thing.
Yeah, just so that it's possible. Well, that's sort of exhausts my supply of questions. This must have been about 4 months ago. Nothing's happened since then, right? Yeah, the Everittsville mentor, I believe, for one, and various others, have always spoken about some type of metal or telepathic communication? Have you ever experienced
That's
anything
what
like
he had. That's what he claimed.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced anything similar?
For me?
Yeah.
No, just that night when I went upstairs, I just had a feeling I was going to see something. And I started running. Matter of fact, was staring at the sky for over a month.
Maybe now.
Well, that's when I bought Sputnik, Russian Sputnik. It's going away for a time.
Where were you born, Mr. Trasco? Around here in...
Jamaica, Long Island.
Oh,
Over in Long Beach ways, not far up.
We bought this house in 1949.
Did you work for a paper mill out there?
No, over here.
Oh, didn't one move from somewhere around Patterson or something down here? Or?
I don't know.